So the first thing I do is I come and I look at the opening, which I've already done. I took all the excess stuff off of it, the little spacer blocks, everything else, so that now I have a clean, open receptacle. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a tape in between and just make sure that my opening is fairly consistent. It should be, and it is, about 2 inches, and the doors are 1 3/8 inches. That gives us the space that we need. And then I'm also going to measure here. Okay, 46.5. And these are, yep, 48. So yes, I made the right call with this. This is our finest trim piece. So our casing will go right here. Okay. All right, so our opening works. We know that works. Now we have these. So the other thing I've done on the windowsill here, I laid out all the hardware to make sure that we've got everything. So the first thing I want to do is I want to take the rollers for both doors, and we're just going to sit them up. Sit them up in and make sure they do not go into the wall. Okay? The old ones had a single track with a J hook on it and one wheel that rode in it, and that's why old pocket doors like fall out all the time.
Okay.
These have the twin wheels that are captured, so they really can't. Okay. Now there's our screw packs. All right, so then our next step, now that we've measured that, some of my screws have disappeared, I think. Yeah, I'll make it work. So we're gonna get these big screws here. These are what's gonna hold the brackets and then, hold the door on. One of the other things I've done here before we started filming was I looked at the doors and I looked at what's the orientation that I want, right? So I wanted, so in this specific case, this is going to be this side. Okay, doesn't really matter, but because we're doing twins, we want them to look as good as we can. So make sure the bottom's at the bottom, top's at the top, whatever. Okay, so we start here. Now these are, so if we take these two doors and we go there in that hole, right? Now we've got a door that slides this way and one that slides this way. So on these brackets, you'll notice there's a little slot here, and this actually picks up this pin, okay? So when we're hanging this door, this is how this goes together. So this is holding the door, this is in the track, and the whole thing slides, okay? So then a critical part of this is to make sure that this slot is facing the right direction, the proper direction for the door. So for this door, we're going to want these slots to face towards the center. For that, we're also going to want them face to the center. So the two doors, the brackets are going to be angled exactly opposite each other. Okay. Now, if it's a single pocket door, it's the same concept, just a little different. Okay, so then the way I'm going to have you help me with this, and just keep a hand on it. Are your hands relatively clean?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So in the old days, these had a, nah, you're good. We're going to still have to touch them up and some things. In the old days, they gave us a dimension. They didn't do that here, so I'm picking one. I'm going to pick 1.5 from each end. So I'm just marking the door at 1.5 inches, and then let's see, 1 3/8 is half plus 3/16 is 9/16. Is that right? No, 11/16. Did that right? Woohoo! I did it right. So 11/16. So all I'm doing here is I'm just marking so I can find this, so that the brackets are basically in the center of the door,
right?
Because that's important so that they're hanging equally in the opening. All right, now I take the big Mondo screws. I might need to get another bit. This is a number 2 bit, but these are big and gnarly. Okay, so this is that door, so we will need these going this way. So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line I'm going to put my first screw directly into that center point. Oh, okay. Bracket that way. The other thing that's important with these is to put some pretty good, I might have to fix that one, some pretty good down pressure on these screws, because if they strip out, all is lost. And you can do this with other screws, but these are by far the better ones. So I try to make sure they're straight and that I'm putting good tension on them so they're not stripping out. Okay, and now before I tighten it up, I'm going to visually put it in the center of the door. As closely as I can. Okay, I can live with that. Now we need to put the bumper on, and the bumper goes basically in the middle of the door. You can go ahead and go vertical with it, it's fine. So it goes basically in the middle of the door. I like to pick about halfway in between the glass panels. The little bumper goes on, and it goes on the inside of this door. Yeah, that's going to have to be the one. Again, not super critical, just center the door. Done. And just for the sake of argument, let's hang that one. So we'll carry it over, kind of put it in the opening. And then I tend to tilt it until I can make that connection. And then that roller just came out, so we're going to put it back in. All right, so then we can start to go into the opening. Okay, that's the first door. It's still going to have to be adjusted, but it's there. Now you can see they're obviously not right? Yes. So this is where adjustment comes in. So first and foremost, what I'm going to do, because for the next few minutes, we're going to be sliding these in and out a lot. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is put the guides on, or actually I'm going to ask you to put the guides on. Okay. So these go like this with the fat part down. Okay. I like to put a screw in the middle. That way you can kind of come up and out. You can also pivot just a little bit. So this goes right here on each side. And then if you look at it, you can see how you can actually kind of tilt it if you need to. But the goal here is that this plastic keeps this door in the center of that opening. So there's 4 of these total on each side. My drill's right there, or use yours, whichever way you want to go.
Okay, you have a particular place you want to go?
The big thing would be, you know what, let's go ahead and let's get a consistent measurement from the floor. Yep. Whatever you choose is fine, 2.5, 3 inches probably, if I'm guessing. Okay. And then here's your guides and screws.
And how far from the edge of the door?
Do what?
How far from the edge of the door?
Well, so they're mounted on this.
Oh, here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it goes fat side down, thicker side down. I guess we can be PC about it. And it basically just goes something like that.
Okay.
I'm suggesting that you pull and make a mark for the top of it, whatever that ends up being.
Okay. And one on each side.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I think that's the door that needs to be adjusted the most. Yeah, it's both of them. So a lot of the energy put into installing doors like this, especially pocket doors, especially French pocket doors, is actually not so much in the hanging of them, it's in the adjusting of them and making them work accurately, look right, everything feels right. So we have like 7 or 8 different things that have to work together for all of this to work right. Okay. Okay, yeah, so it's all, every evidence is showing us the same thing, and that is that this used to go like that. So, we can get this to. Dan, if you want, you can grab that other wrench and start adjusting this side. Yep, I want to sell. See is this line looks good. That looks pretty awesome. That looks good. That looks good. You can see we've got a little bit, if you really are looking at it, you can see we're a little wider at the bottom here than we are at the top. It's actually in the frame, I think. So now we'll close it here. Make sure that looks pretty decent. It does. Make sure this looks pretty decent. It does, but you can see the angle in it. So this is off a little bit. So what we'll end up having to do in the trim stage is we're going to need to trim and shim this side so that, and we're going to need to do it with something small, like 1/8 inch lathe or something like that. So we'll put it on here and then we'll shim to make sure that our reveal looks good.
Okay.
And then we'll also have to trim this and do an 1/8 inch, this thickness up here too, to cover this raw edge of sheetrock, and then trim to it.
Okay.
We could do as much as a 1/2 inch here. Here's the challenge with that. Anything we do here up top will have to be removed in order to do anything else with these doors ever.
Okay.
But we're just gonna have to do that because we need the finish here. So, okay, so overall, I feel pretty good about these doors. They come together, they close pretty good.